tapping. Tap into your purpose. Tapping. Check it. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. We tapping into purpose. Raw purpose. Purpose. We tapping into purpose. Raw purpose.
Yo, what's good, Raw fam? It's your boy Zay.
And it's your boy Rashad.
And this is the Raw on Purpose podcast.
That's the People's Podcast, the Raw on Purpose podcast, where we tap into our raw, authentic selves and our specific purposes, and we just break it down as we engage in great conversations, topics to reach out to the people, and of course, make an impact. So I hope y'all ready. We got a hot one today.
It's a hot one today. We are diving into this whole conversation with COVID, with the vaccine, with the mandates, all that good stuff. We have some guests in studio with us today. We're going to allow them to introduce themselves. They work in the healthcare field. So I thought it would just be good for us, or we thought it would be good for us to have an educated conversation about the vaccine for those that may be against getting it, those that have it and that they're good, or whatever reason, you got it. We just want to have a conversation to help someone make an informed decision, or if they want to, not take it. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce our guests. We have T.O. and Paula. Paula, I'll let you introduce yourself. We do ladies first, and then T.O. will let you dive in, and then we'll jump in the conversation.
Well, my name is Paula Led. I am a registered nurse, and I've been a registered nurse for 22 years.
Yeah, I'm T.O. Willingham, and I've been a respiratory therapist for 12 years now.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Good stuff. So they have the credentials, right, to be in this space, especially because from what I understand that COVID is a respiratory disease.
Yeah.
Like it attacks your lungs. So like having a respiratory therapist, right, dealing with and seeing firsthand the ramifications and how COVID has done some damage in people's lives, as well as a nurse, right? They're the ones that take care of us. Like me and my wife I didn't have one. My wife had a baby. And, the nurses, we saw them more than anybody else. So, and they took very good care of her. So I know the nurses played a huge role in helping patients get better in the midst of all the craziness, because it was something that we honestly have never seen before, right? The last time we heard about it was the Spanish flu in like the early 1900s. So, and today.
I forget H1N1 and what it was. 2008.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't to the magnitude of what we're dealing with now, but I mean, it was pretty significant.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, we heard it and it didn't stop our lives.
Exactly.
Right? Like nothing shut down. It was like a few people,
Right.
even though it seemed like we were just better prepared for it. So I don't know if, we just had a lack of preparation. I don't know. Like it just seemed like it got out of control quickly.
Very quick.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
It was very
Almost
quick.
out of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was like one day you heard it on the news, and then the next day everything was
Unheard
shut
of.
down.
Was shut down.
Just
Yeah.
unheard
we
of.
kind of figured that it was already here because we had been having some type of cases of patients being sick for at least 2 weeks at a time, and no one knew what was going on with these patients.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like, maybe this is it. Fast forward 6 months,
Yes.
4 months.
And-
So we don't really know how long it's been here, but we know that it was here before they really made it a pandemic.
I will
Yeah.
just share this, if I can, this personal. I believe it was here in September of 2019, not when they said December. I lost my daughter in December of 2019.
Yes.
She got sick. She had some special needs anyway, but she got sick in September well, actually, it was August 26th of 2019. We took her to the hospital. They intubated her, and they first diagnosed her with pneumonia, but they just could not figure out what it was. And then after going through that with her we went through that for 4 months, and then we finally took her home on hospice, just like reading about COVID and how it came on the scene, and then even talking to some of the nurses after the fact, we are pretty sure that's what she had. Nobody will say it because they weren't looking for it, but we are pretty sure because, I mean, there's other cases even in the hospital that I worked in at the time where they were just getting these respiratory cases were just like, what is wrong with these people? And they would get sick. They would downgrade them from the ICU to step down to med surg, and they would be back in the ICU. They just could not figure out what was going on. And so I'm sure it was here before December of 2019 or November of 2019.
Same situation. We had like the same thing. Patients with pneumonia, we was putting them on ECMO. Patients was throwing clots. We just didn't know what was going on. We tested them for pretty much everything. And normally not the first, but one of the big tests that they do is the HIV test. Situations like that, she knows. But once that come back negative, it's kind of like, where do we go from here? So I seen at least 2 cases like that in 2019. One September and one in November. So yeah.
So now, why do you think that it took them so long to make it kind of public? If we were seeing some of the things earlier, then
I don't think they were looking for it because they found it in China in November, which of course they probably knew about it. But when people were starting to die at the rates they were dying, it kind of became, and then social media and all the other things, it was kind of it got ahead of everybody. I'll just say that. So I'm sure the medical community was aware of it before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, no offense, and I won't make this political because it will get political. We also have to be mindful of who was in office at the time, and I think a lot of how this is played out has a lot to do with who was in office at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how it would fall on him. Many believe that the president has like a whole bunch of power, but he's like a CEO of a company that has a board of directors.
Oh, most
right.
definitely.
So, and that's the thing, because I know everybody, we like to dump on whoever is president, but it's the people that they have in place, the people that were in place before he got there. We have the whole system is set up for checks and balances, right? To make sure, if I'm wrong, because I want to take the media bias out of the conversation, because
I will say this. At the time when all of this surfaced, I believe the agenda was about, I need to promote me. And I just believe what was the priority didn't become the priority. The priority was the campaign. When the priority should have been this pandemic that is on the scene. And then I'll leave that right there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's interesting. For me, it's because it's just interesting.
The whole thing?
Yeah, just paying attention to it. And, I know a lot of people, we don't want to talk about conspiracies and all that stuff, but there are levels of truth to some of these quote unquote conspiracies, right? Like if we look at what we're looking at now, right? I'll take like one of the biggest things that happened is you look at what Facebook just did, right? Talk about the metaverse, right? And the one thing that COVID did was shut off this relationship we have person to person. And it did it so quick to where now it's all digital, right? So you see where things are being shifted, right? To where like, was this created to make this happen faster, right? Just a thought that I have for it, right? Because, and then if you think about, when they were talking about the vaccines were coming out, right? And you look at one side was like, I'm not going to take it because of this guy. And then when they got in office, then they're like, hey, everybody should take it. So like it being political,
Right.
I think caused more confusion because everybody, not just him, every political figure had their own side of the coin that they were pushing.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
nobody would have a honest conversation to get to the root of it. One side would say, trust the science. The other side would say it's fake news, right? One side would, and if we're going to say trust the science, well, that means two people with two opposing views that have scientific proof should be able to have a conversation, and then people will be able to decide from there, right? But that's not what happened.
No.
Right? Right? That's not what happened. First of all, the media got a hold of it, right? And then could we say that the media made it worse than it really
I
made
think
it
the
better?
media is the main culprit.
Media,
of all of
social
this.
media is why this got out of hand. I mean, because when you mentioned the Spanish flu and you mentioned H1N1, none of social media did not have the power that it has now. So social media was huge in this, and then it became political. When it came on the scene, we were right in the middle of this huge presidential election, and everybody used it as a part of their platform. And I'll agree with you. It was not about the people. It was about what's the most popular stance I can take to get votes.
Yep.
It's not about the health of the world. And then it didn't just affect the United States. It affected the whole world. And that should have been the main thing. That should have been what we were talking about every day, not about these two political or all these political candidates that we were talking about.
Yep.
It was ridiculous to me.
Yeah, because it was like, if we think about it, it was almost like it came as the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right? You have this virus that's real, right? I don't negate that it's not real. I know there's a lot of people like this thing is not real. It's like there's too many people that are suffering from it. There are too many people that they may not die from it, but you just know like they were shut down for 2 weeks, right? Like it was as real as the flu, as real as any other. Like my mom's dealt with respiratory viruses before, and they're no joke. So it's like you got to take it seriously, But
Right.
it's
Whatever
like
it may be.
whatever it may be. But it was the perfect storm came. It's political season, so you got both sides trying to get elected to the presidency. You got to think the House and the Senate was involved, like like everything was, and it was just like, yo, we don't care about the people. I think for me, that's one of the biggest things that I got out of this whole thing was the system does not care about the people.
I remember, and I know we all can remember when Biden specifically said that he wouldn't make this a mandation, and now look at us during the election. So they all used it as a political,
Mhm.
So
I will say he did say that, but and you should never make promises because every time they make promises, once they get in, they never stick to those promises. However, with that, I really think everybody thought, Biden thought that once we got a vaccine approved by the FDA and all of that, that people were going to take it because we've never had this much distrust with any other vaccine in our, since the beginning of time when vaccines have come on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
We trusted if the CDC said it, if the World Health Organization said it, we trusted it. So now we have this whole new level of distrust where, but again, it goes back to the political form where they made jokes about it. Of course, it's fake news,
Yeah.
What did the president tell us to go drink some bleach? I mean, it was like a big joke.
Yeah.
When people are dying in massive numbers at massive rates, and no one is taking serious that this is real. And if you talk to people that have lost, you can most people will know somebody directly
Mhm.
that has died from this, but there's people who lost their whole family
Yeah.
from this pandemic. And so when you talk to those people, they see it totally different than we,
Mhm.
even us that work in the
Yeah.
healthcare,
Yeah.
they see it so different.
Yeah.
I mean, they take it personal, like nobody cared that I lost my mother, brother, sister. Nobody cared.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that we're gonna have young people. Let's just put this out here. People, young people that suffer from this and really suffer to the point where they have to have oxygen. These people are gonna have interstitial lung disease within the next 5 years.
That's true.
So we're talking about diseases that normally affect cigarette chain smokers. You know, people that work on the road, black tar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
These people are gonna experience that.
Wow.
Because of COVID. Like, this is serious. Like, if you think that this is the game, then you catch it and have to go home on oxygen and see where you be from 5 years from now. And this is study that my hospital is doing in the area. So
And that's enough, but you don't hear a lot about, you know, people had COVID, they
Right.
recovered, but you don't hear about the long-term
Term
effects
effects.
that these people are dealing with daily.
and it, gonna
It has
have to deal
changed their
with it.
lives.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I will say one thing though that you were saying about the whole mandation, as far as with, you know, we'll take the flu, we'll take the other shots, but we're having a whole lot of people pull back from this. I just feel like when you have the media, you have everybody, you hiring stars, you know, celebrities, whatever you want to call them, to push stuff like this, there's gonna be a lot of backlash. People are already scared. I think if they would have just put it out there and say, hey, this is what it is. If you guys want to take it, I think we would have had more participants.
I agree.
It's just when you don't
Yeah.
push the flu like that,
Yeah.
flu
Yeah.
shot like that, you're not pushing keep your immune system intact by taking this. I haven't seen anybody on the news say take this to keep your immune system boosted. We don't see any of that, but we constantly see
Well-
shot.
With the survival rate
Exactly.
of it statistically being as good as it is, as far as like why,
It looks
This,
bad because
yeah.
it's, you know, when you're talking about millions, it looks bad.
Right.
But we
It's the
know
number.
that it's really a 98% rate, a 99 as for a survivor. But it looks bad when the news say millions. The
Mhm.
news have it posted.
Yeah.
You got Fox
On that
News and
ticker,
CNN
yeah.
constantly posting the death rates, this.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna scare people. People just gonna
Yeah.
have fear mongering. That's just
Yeah.
that's what they, you know, they looked forward to the news to get their information. So
And the reason why they're not posting, because I do think there's some benefits in a lot of the healthy regimens and the immune boosters and all of
Right.
that. But again, it's political, and Big Pharma is behind that, and they've been working on these before.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I was wondering
It's-
when that was gonna come.
it's generated by the pharmaceutical
Right,
companies.
right.
They
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
And so they are in the politicians are in their pockets and
Mhm.
vice versa.
Big time.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's what's going on. We all know that. And I will tell you, I like I said before, I did not agree with the mandate because I made an informed decision myself. However, I was at work and I asked one of the physicians. I was like, she said, "Paula, you getting that vaccine?" I said, "Girl, no." I said, "I'm not gonna be a part of Tuskegee Part 2. I'm not doing it." And she said, "You not taking?" I was like, "No, I'm not taking that shot." And so she sat down with me and she educated me and she said, "You know, this is different." And she said, and again, right now, what else is there? If you get COVID, what else is there do we have? She said, "You work in healthcare, you're on a COVID unit. Why in the world would you not take it?" And when she put it that way, I started thinking about it. I started thinking about my family, you know, and then that's why I went ahead and took it. However, I still maintain that everybody should have that aha moment themselves
Mhm.
and say, "This is what I've decided to
Totally
do."
agree.
And
Totally agree.
you know, make
Yeah.
that decision
Now,
themselves.
this is the thing, right? So with just the heavy pushing through the media, using celebrities, using the influencers and all that, the thing is, with the vaccine, there is no backing, there's no liability. So like if you tend to get harmed by it, if you tend to, you cannot file anything against them if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's
That's
what I read.
So that's the thing that's like will make me like first of all, it's like Operation Warp Speed is being pushed so quickly, though they more than likely were working on it prior to, but pushed so quickly, and then I don't, and then the information, this, that, and the other. It's like I don't know if I want to just jump into this real quickly, knowing that it's a risk.
And a whole lot of times there's not gonna be a lot of injuries in the beginning when you're talking about vaccines. You seen the commercial where it say, if you took this 4 years ago, contact this number. You're gonna get a lot of that in maybe 3-5 years from now. I mean, it just happens because, I mean, I don't know how long they did the trial. Like she said, it has been, this probably have been out for a while as far as the vaccines, or they probably been.
Because this is what is it? SARS-CoV-2.
Right.
So there was a SARS-CoV-1,
Right. Exactly.
and so they've been doing this. They've been testing these drugs for a long time. So do I really want to really think about the conspiracy theories? That I try not to.
Conspiracy.
A lot of things happen in this world is created by people.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. And
true.
even for me to make my informed decision, I didn't even realize, when you have those Google Homes and all them things in your house, and if you talk about anything in your house, like right now I've been thinking about buying a new car, and I promise you every time I pick up my phone or open my computer, what you think is on my screen?
But it's your phone too, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, anything you talk about, anything you look up, if you say, if I'm saying I'm gonna get the vaccine, I'm gonna get the vaccine, I will open up my feed, and everything on my feed is pro-vaccine.
Yep.
And then if I say, oh no, they're not killing me, I'm not taking that vaccine, no, then it's all pro-vaccine. And so
you're being watched.
Yeah, I mean, we
right.
We did an episode on the Social Dilemma, which is a Netflix special that talks about how the algorithm predicts, and then how they have it set up to where whatever is the dominant search in the area that you live in, that's the first thing that's going to pop up.
Right.
So unless you get some form of VPN to where it doesn't know where you are, that's the only way that you're able to avoid stuff like that.
Right.
But getting, the whole pushing, I've never seen them push for anything so hard to where people were giving away beer for a year, $1 million raffles, gift certificates, gift cards. Like I just saw a report that the city of New York's paying kids $100 to get the shot. And it's like, if it's that good for our health, why are you trying to pay us to take something, right? And then here's the other problem that I have with it is, I go back to during the whole campaign, you heard one side say that if a vaccine becomes available, who's going to take it, right? So then they started pushing that agenda from the left side. That's what they were saying. The moment the results came in and they won, then it was, I'm not going to mandate it, but we should take it. And then it moved from everybody has to take it or everybody should take it, right? So now that puts forth a level of distrust because it's like, now you're lying. Like that's a flat out lie. You were just saying to us, who's going to take this? And they said, I wouldn't take it. So not only did they say I wouldn't take it, they said that who's going to take it. Then they won and said, I'm not going to mandate it. And then you mandate it, right? Like, so that causes like, okay, what's really going on? And I get it. I mean, we understand that America is a business before it is for people. Right. That they wrote a check to Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson for these vaccines. And they're like, yo, what we paid for, we got to get in people's arms. So I'm even to the point that they don't even care that it protects us or if it kills us.
You got to get this product.
They got to get this product out. Right.
Yeah,
I would try to go a little bit. I will just say there has been some success in the vaccine, and so because a lot of people have died. I mean, we can't minimize all of the casualties, but yes, there's a bigger agenda. I mean, we live in the United States. There's always a bigger agenda. However, we cannot deny that there has been some success with the vaccine. However, we do not know the long-term effects of it.
That's the thing, yeah.
But also, I'm sorry.
No, that's the biggest thing. We just don't know the long-term effects.
Right.
Everybody, see, we good 2 weeks from now, but we don't know later on.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, how much of the data is accurate of those that are having adverse reactions to it? Right. So this is the whole problem with this whole conversation is there's not data on both sides. Right. So if someone comes up and says that the data shows that it's not as it doesn't protect as much as they say it is, right? The first thing that is screamed is misinformation or disinformation, opposed to, again, going back to you take your studies that you've been doing, let's take these studies and see what you've been doing, and then either publicly making some form of debate, conversation, whatever, so that like we can weed out, because there's just too much ambiguity in this whole thing to where we just blindly trust, right? It's like, for me, it's like people say, well, you took, these vaccines. It's like, well, first of all, when I was a kid, I didn't have a choice, right? Like, my parents didn't understand, didn't study vaccines, didn't study any of that stuff. I'm a person that has never taken the flu shot. But then I'm also like, if I'm not around a bunch of people like that to catch those things, but also my body, like I do my best to take care of my body so that whatever attacks it, I'm prepared for it, right? Like you said, we're not talking about how we individually can do the right things to help our bodies, from taking vitamins, from stop eating fast food and crappy food that lowers your immune system. And then the biggest thing that, if we think about anxiety, right? This whole thing has created anxiety, right? Depression. So anxiety causes stress, which stress lowers your immune system.
Yeah.
So now you're more susceptible to it because now they got you stressed out because like the person next to you could have the virus. And, then there's like, oh, the mask help. And no, the masks don't help, right? And this is coming from the CDC, right? The CDC is like, and I know from what the word says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? So if you're double-minded, how can I trust you? Because you're going to say this, and then the next week it's going to be this, and then the next week it's going to be this.
And again, I'll go back, and I agree with what you're saying. But I think that with that being said, as science continues to reveal itself over the years, things change. Mm-hmm. But the thing about is this over information that we get. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, if you think, what was it, Spanish flu is what you said?
Yeah.
How fast did they get that information? Probably years.
Yeah.
But when you say something, if I say something right now to him and he tells somebody what I said, I mean, everything is instantaneous. And that information, which if I'm sure with the other vaccines, with other medications, there's been this two-sided, oh, yes, it works, or maybe we should do this. I think that's always been the case. It's just you can't make a mistake now because when by the time you realize I probably shouldn't have said that, it's already out there.
Yeah.
And so this overstimulate. I mean, we are inundated with information that we really don't need. It's information that, I definitely believe in being informed, but it puts those the CDC, the World Health Organization, it puts them in a difficult situation because they are not perfect. They are men. But anything they say, before they can even say, oh, shoot, we probably shouldn't have said that, it's out. It becomes like, well, the CDC said this. Now they're coming back and saying this when that information has never been turned over that quickly, ever.
Yeah.
And so everything about this information age and all of that just has really complicated this pandemic. It has really complicated everything.
Yeah. And the media, again, the media just has not helped us at all. Like,
no.
Well, my thing is with the media too. I mean, when you're talking about the CDC and the World Health, these people make mistakes, but why don't they put that on the news? And I think that helps with trust a little bit. When you, instead of you hiding, you made a mistake with this death total from last year. Why don't you say, okay, we made a mistake. This is what it really is, instead of just hiding and just making it go away, or you flooding our timeline with some other event that's we get distracted real quick.
Right. Right.
That's why
it's
I have trust
narcissistic.
issues.
Yeah.
I think I'd have trust issues too. I mean, and I get it. It's just, but we also have to realize all of this fast information turning over that fast. I don't even think we can't absorb it. And so
I'm absorbing it. We're talking about health. We're talking about something that can literally kill us. I'm absorbing all that information. Give it to me.
But it would truly help if they came back and said, newsflash. Yesterday we reported this, or last week we reported this. As we've been looking at this a little bit closer, last week we told y'all not to wear masks. We really feel like it's important that everybody wear their mask. Exactly. I mean, and just give it to us straight. People would really, I would trust that more than saying, well, what made y'all change?
Most people would.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think they would.
Yeah.
And it would be helpful if the media was not owned by the same people that own the government, right? Because it's like you think about. So let's say on MSNBC they come out and they say that you shouldn't wear a mask, right? But then Fox News is like, well, we're just going to say the opposite for the sake of, right? And then CNN, they just and it's like there is no true source. And because we've gotten rid of the local newspaper, right? Because the local news would be more unbiased than anything else. Another thing that, has me kind of pondering is when we use big numbers, right? So it would be like there was a 500% increase in cases, right? When it could have went from 5 people to 25, right? Yeah. That's a 500% increase. But because people don't think, they're thinking, oh, it went from 500 to 50,000.
Right.
But that's part of their strategy. We make things extravagant just to get a reaction out of people. So if you tell me it was 1 yesterday, but it was a 500% increase today, I'm thinking, oh my God, how many is that? What is that, 5? Now it's 5?
Yeah, it's 5 to 25.
Yeah, that's okay with anything else, but we're talking about
our health.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't know, like you said, we don't know the long-term effects. So somebody hears there's been a 500% increase in cases. Right. Now people are like, oh, let me go get this. Right. Because I know probably about 2 months ago, they said that here in Cobb County, there was a 500%. And I'm like, okay, what's that number? Did it start at 1,000 people came in and then it jumped to 5,000? Or again, was it just 5 people and it jumped to 25? And then the other thing is like, oh, they're running out of beds. It's like, okay, so if you have 25 beds and 26 people show up, right? It's one. Granted, that one person is important, but it's not like 100 people showed up
it's
to
about the imagination that what comes into the mind when you hear
I'm just saying,
situation, they really were running out of beds, though. It was bad.
I mean, I can see,
They
I
were
can
running
see,
out of beds.
I can
I
see
would say
in.
this in Cobb County, they can't run out of beds. They have a whole level, a whole ER that they're not using at the biggest hospital here in Cobb County, and it's 6 levels, and I think it's 72 beds. Then they have a ER that is operating right now. That is what? How many levels? 4.
Yeah, but if you have to have people to take care of people in bed.
That
So
is true.
it's yeah.
but-
So I'm okay. I get it. But if you only got enough
But here's the
staff,
thing. But here's the
I
thing.
get what you're saying.
But say that though.
But listen though,
No, because you can't say that. And let me just say this, but you really can't say that. You cannot say that and yes, running out of beds. Now I will tell you, we honestly ran out of beds where
Well,
I
of
used to
course you
work, and I'm not gonna say where I used to
I
work,
know.
but we really did run out of beds. But what I will say, if we put out in the community that we got beds, we just ain't got no nurses. I mean, we ain't got no respiratory therapists. You gotta.
That we can't.
Yeah. So we ran out of beds because we can't take care of the patients. If I get one more patient in this bed, we can't take care of this patient.
Yeah,
And then not only did we truly maybe not run out of beds, but we really did run out of ventilators.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Now,
Yeah.
that
And
is true.
so
And I can
That
believe
is
that.
true.
I mean, I can that one I can understand
Right.
due to the fact that nobody expected
but
it.
of course we know the media deals in it. Let's make this extravagant and make this
Right.
really, and I get that, and I don't like the fact that we are basically scaring people into doing something. That's wrong. But that's a whole bunch of another drama. But we should not be scaring people into doing things wrong. But we really should choose the right words and how we're saying it. But again, we really can't let them know we don't have any healthcare providers. We can't tell.
But here's the so
reckless.
Right.
so staying on that point though, right? Staying on that point. So why is it being mentioned that so many of the healthcare workers are walking away now because of the mandates? So the question is that facts or is that fiction?
I can't speak for every healthcare organization. I can only speak for what I know. Not a lot of people have walked away.
Okay.
I will say this: there's a lot of people that said that they wasn't gonna get it, and
They got it.
Yeah.
We did have a lot of. I will say this:
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of people that quit, but they didn't quit because of mandation. They quit because they went and made more money.
Okay.
They went to travel.
But even a lot of those people that left to travel, that is a federal mandate. And so wherever they are,
Exactly.
they got it.
They got
'Cause-
it.
Because again, I can't tell you how much I know some nurses is making $150 an hour. You are going to they take it.
Yeah.
Most of them have taken it. And the ones that didn't take it have started their own nursing agencies, and they're sending other respiratory therapists and nurses out and making a kickback off what they're making. So again, and that's a whole nother issue for me because I get it. And I'm not gonna lie, if I was a little bit younger and could be on these knees like I used to be, I might have went and did some of them contracts. But I also felt really passionate about we need those healthcare providers here. Because like I said, I was getting resignations 2 a day when it first, because people were running, chasing those contracts. But there's a lot of what they didn't put out either. There's a lot of healthcare providers that are no longer here that chase those contracts because those people were working. One girl, she texted me, she said, they didn't tell us the truth. Yes, we are making this much money. However, my original contract was 21 days. Of those 21 days, I worked 6 days on, 1 day off, 6 days on, 1 day off. In a COVID unit,
Right.
where you don't got no sleep in your immune system, and you may, and thank God she's okay, but how many other people didn't? How many people that were really in that, doing that, didn't make it? So they're not putting that part out because there's a lot of people that didn't make it.
I agree. Totally.
That's good to know. It's good to know. That's why we're having the conversation so that we can get some people that are, there's no agenda,
No.
right? No agenda, just being able to give insight because of it's just like you can't trust necessarily what you see, right? Because there are people that are having adverse effects from the vaccine. The things have come out that blood clots have formed in certain people, and then also one thing they don't make too much of a big deal about, and I think it's because of this whole we let everybody live their life the way that they live their life. And if you say something about anybody's weight, and because we know that people that died at a higher rate had higher comorbidities, right? So they had, heart problems, diabetes, they were overweight, they were obese, COPD, like all of those things that come from being unhealthy and from the food that we're eating. I think if we were to even push more, and I know you and I had this conversation about how our government and everything is reactive opposed to being proactive. Like if they, honestly, I think if they spent the amount of money into this vaccine, into forcing corporations to put better things in their food that actually is food, that we may have been able to conquer this without even a vaccine, right? Because we would just be healthier people, right?
Definitely agree with that.
Because something I was listening to today, and I was reading to kind of prepare for this, like another kind of something that would help is having our vitamin D levels at a higher rate, because so many people are vitamin D deficient that this virus was able to attack even harder because of those things, right? Like, and then you think about if we see that that the virus is really hurting more people of a certain income level, right? Because I think of Joe Rogan, who he catches it, but he has millions of dollars to where he can go get the best the best supplement,
the best whatever,
right? Can get vitamin, and you have people like, yo, you can't take this, but it's like, but people take this in other parts of their lives, or even saying like people that have lupus and the medication that they're taking, they've been around people that had the virus. Everybody got the virus except for them. And the medication that they're taking is what helped them defeat it. So we're not looking at that medication to help people solve it. It's all about the vaccine right now, because what Pfizer just came out with a pill that you can take. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and we also know before the pandemic that the pharmaceutical companies were getting in trouble with the opioids, right? Like they were under attack. And so now the villain has become the hero, which is crazy to me. How they switched that narrative, and we're just not paying attention enough, right? We're not paying attention because again, they got us stuck in you'll die, right? If you don't get this vaccine, you're hurting the people around you. But it's like what people that are vaccinated can still spread it. Is that a true statement or? Right.
So on the CDC website, it's once again brought to the CDC.
You still can't spread it.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another I have a problem with the fact that they say, like the Bible says, love your neighbor. I'm like, well, the vaccine only protects me. It does not protect my neighbor. Because if I get it, I can still spread it, right? Because I think of for myself, having a 6-month-old baby at home that she can't get vaccinated right now. And honestly, I don't know if I would put her through being vaccinated for this right now because we just don't have enough data on it. That, we take her to the stores, she's unmasked. And then I'm like, yo, that's crazy. A 2-year-old to 6-month-old can be out freely with no mask on. But I have to wear, they're saying I have to wear a mask. So it's like, so I'm going to protect myself and then put my baby out there, right? Because there are some places where I'm just like, well, if she's going to be it, I'm not going to have my baby out here unprotected, and I'm sitting here like, hey, I'm protected, but
It always just kind of looked a little like
that's always been weird to me, right?
For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
the virus does not affect babies the way they do adults, and I don't know what the science is behind that. I don't know.
I would almost say that it's the fact that we're unhealthy.
That's probably very true. Mm-hmm.
definitely been exposed to the elements
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
realize that you're talking about a newborn to a 2-month-old. They have to get sick for their immune system to even be built up.
Mhm.
So that's why you see a 0 to 2-year-old without a mask. Because,
Yeah.
they don't have an immune system. Let's just be honest. So
Yeah.
they can take pretty much everything.
So with that statement though, so it's actually good for our bodies to get sick.
It's good for 0 to 2.
Right. Not us. Yeah.
So it's not good for us to build our immune system.
Well, not that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to build your immune system by, of course, what we were saying earlier, with taking your vitamins and staying away from all this, these meats, red foods, and all that stuff. That's what you want to do. But you don't want to just get sick.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make sure, like, just don't go. I'm not saying go hang around sick people, but I'm saying like,
But it will help you, though. I will say, because I've seen cases where people have been diagnosed 2 times. I've seen a case where they've been diagnosed with corona 3 times. Quite sure you've seen it. And each time they wasn't as sick as they was the first time and the second time. So maybe it's not enough data.
It's not enough data.
Maybe,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't advise you to do that.
Yeah.
I would actually compare it to I've gotten the flu shot probably for the last 15 years. And so I've gotten the flu before, but what they say is because the flu vaccine is different than the corona vaccine in that the flu vaccine is created off of last year's strain.
Okay.
So I might get sick, but I may not get as sick as I would have gotten had I not taken the vaccine.
Okay.
That's what they say. And so I'm thinking that when people who have gotten the vaccine or who have had coronavirus before, they're probably all these different variants is probably they're not as sick because they have some antibodies built up to fight it off. Whereas had they not been sick before and got it, they would have probably gotten really sick.
Mm-hmm.
So your body that's just the way your body is built.
And I noticed last year we had cases of flu was like really down. So this spring gonna go off.
But they were saying the cases were really low because of the mask. Because everybody was wearing masks, so we were not able to
social distancing.
Right.
Yeah,
And we weren't in work environments.
People weren't.
You were at home.
Yeah.
That's proof
Yeah.
of the separation that it's not as much transmissions and contact and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think another thing that adds to it is because we're just a workaholic country.
Right.
Like if you're sick, you don't stay home. Like
Right.
I know when I was in school, if I was sick, I wasn't staying at home. And for me, it was just because I hated homework, right? Like I didn't want to do homework, like the extra work to try to catch up. I didn't want to do it. So I would just go sick. And then even when I was working, it was just like, I got to get this check because most jobs don't offer sick leave. Like if you're sick, hey, stay home. Like you sit there, making a sandwich, right? Like, making you'd be like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I need to go to the drive-thru or work somewhere else. But it's like, they don't take care of us to where, because I think that would have been another part is, okay, you're sick, stay home. Now, of course, you have people that are going to try to game that system, which now they have to come up with like, as I talk about it more, it's just a hard situation because you just have bad people that are going to take advantage of the system.
Go game the system.
Right? Like
that's just it's gonna happen anyway.
It's the inevitable.
Right. But then you were telling me about the difference between the flu vaccine and the COVID is the flu is an active virus.
Flu is
I mean,
a live virus.
Is a live virus.
So let me see what they said. The coronavirus is a protein-based virus so it's genetically engineered to mimic our DNA, our mRNA, not necessarily our DNA. And so it kind of tricks our body into thinking we have the actual virus. So that's another controversy behind this is that, the genetic engineering piece, which
Right.
that was a little concerning to me.
Right.
However, I just didn't want to die. I'm just gonna be honest.
That's so honest. I like that.
Question for you, because you do get to partake in the meetings,
Mhm.
with the big wigs. Do we know what's really in the vaccine?
I don't know. And I don't think the hospitals know. I will just be honest. The only people that really know what's in that vaccine is the scientists and the top government officials. I mean, I know y'all watch all the movies where they have all these
I just
secret.
wonder because
Oh,
you're
I'm
not able
sure.
to see it, and I mean, even if you look it up,
I'm gonna be real with y'all. That's where my faith came into it. And I
Okay.
just honestly, I didn't just do this lightly. I talked to that doctor, I prayed about it, and then I made an informed decision. I went, I said, Lord, if there's something in this, please just protect me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did. I had to just
That's
kind of,
fair.
and I had to not think about it because
Right.
when it first hit, going into that hospital, you had to get your temperature taken. You had to wear a mask. You had to.
Mhm.
At one point, we were wearing gowns. It was ridiculous.
Oh, it was horrible.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then you go in here, and then the patients are crying because they're lonely. Because if they are COVID positive, I ain't coming back in there. I'm gonna go in there as little as I need to go.
Yeah, I'm not
You
gonna
know?
lie. I was going in those rooms, and I was saying, "Sir, ma'am, it's gonna be okay. If you need anything, just call me." I was one of those.
No. We
Don't
said
be
call you,
honest.
but they want now you have to understand too. I had a geriatric unit, and so they wanted you to talk.
Oh, okay.
They wanted you to kind of love on them in your
Yeah.
way.
Especially because
I kinda
Yeah.
felt bad for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, no one was able to come.
Couldn't have
and-
no visitors.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
even some of the ones where it was like end of life type of situation, who wants to say goodbye on a iPad?
yeah.
Who wants to do that? So that one was hard for me.
Mm.
When you be like,
Yeah.
boy. And there were times, I'm not gonna lie, I snuck people in.
Oh wow, yeah.
Where they would come in, they had to put on their mask, and they would come in like for a minute and
Yeah.
say bye,
Right.
and they had to be in a private room.
I think what
But I some things you can't do on a
Right.
phone or iPad. You just can't.
And my thing was, I mean, we have the ones that come in and they're on these high flows forever in a day,
Mhm.
and then they start going downhill, and we know what's gonna happen after that. So we have to get this pep talk. We have to give them this pep talk, like it's gonna be okay, when we know and they know it's not gonna be okay, and it's just sad all around, and that's why when we have patients like that, like she was saying, I would just go back. I don't care if they're COVID positive. I would go in the room and be like, just talking. You okay? I mean, we're gonna make sure you get through this night without too much commotion. Just try to pep talk and just try to keep the head up, man. Because I mean, like she said, it's rough not being able to see your loved ones and you have to talk to someone through an iPad. I mean, it's rough,
Man,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
unimaginable.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a heart, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No. I mean, that's
Definitely.
a good way to. I was always wondering also why they weren't allowing people in, because I remember when my mom had a respiratory virus that was like it caused pneumonia in her. We were able to go see her, but we had to put gloves on. We had a gown on, mask, like covered up before we could walk in. why wasn't those available for people to come visit? Was it that they didn't have enough on hand, or that they didn't know about the virus?
I would tell you the organization I worked for, we were very good stewards over our supplies, and they made sure that the staff had it. That was one good thing that they did during that time. As far as visitation, I just think because we didn't know enough about COVID at the time, we just knew we thought it was airborne at the time.
Right.
And so we needed the least amount of people in those rooms, because you have to understand, if you have a floor with 41 beds and then you let everybody even have one visitor, now you got 80 people on that floor. Right. Not to mention now you got the staff, which you probably got 15 staff. Now you got 95 people. We just couldn't do it. And so you just had to, it had to be all or none. I mean, I totally supported it, but I always believe there's always an exception to a rule. You just have to be very strategic in how you do it. And so with those like end of life situations, if I could get them up there, take them in, and I would be very, you got 5 minutes, because I ain't supposed to have you here, but you got 5 minutes.
And also,
yeah,
I think we had to, think about it as far as business wise too. The hospital didn't want to be responsible. So if you came in and you said, well, I called COVID from the hospital, and now I'm going to sue.
Very true.
Anything like of that nature, then the hospital is like, now they're put in a situation where they have to pay out, and they don't want to have to deal with that, So I got it from that situation as well too, because I've actually heard someone say that was a manager, and I'm like, you know what? That makes I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Now they couldn't have done waivers.
They did eventually do waivers,
they did.
but in the beginning, they didn't. They wasn't doing waivers. Yeah.
Because I think
you still have to look at administration. They didn't do waivers. I remember they did waivers.
There were some waivers, but they really just wanted to really limit the number of people, because the more people, and I'll be honest with you, because it some of the things baffle me with how we shut everything down, but we didn't shut the grocery stores down. And you go in the store, and the person in front of you, they take all the packs of hamburger and
touch all over them and put it back. Or they're trying to find they're trying to find the cheapest one, so they're looking at it.
And at one point, I'm gonna be honest, I was going home with the bleach wipes and wiping all the outside of it,
We
all just really
we all
doing
didn't
a
know
whole
what was
bunch
going
of stuff,
on.
right?
It was it was crazy. And me and my wife, we were at Walmart probably like every other day just to get out the house, because everything was shut down.
Right.
And it was like, oh, we want these snacks. Oh, we want this. Oh, and it's like, it's like, yo, we're supposed to be sitting at home.
Right.
But Walmart's full, Target's full.
But with that being said, because we had that, we had a talk. What is it they call it? The greater table that we do at church?
Yeah.
But we were talking, and they were talking about what do people need, because everybody were tired of being locked up in their houses. I didn't get that. I was never locked in my house. So I've worked through the whole.
Feel like I was locked up, and I was still going.
I wanted
everywhere.
people out of my house. I wanted everybody to step away, because, the pandemic didn't change for us. We kind of just our life was the same.
Same here.
Especially, I think it was like that because we, going to work every day and we around it so much. It's like when I leave the hospital, I'm gonna go where I need to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would leave and go. However, in the beginning, I was scared. If I wore scrubs to work, I was scared because there were several cases where people with all the conspiracy theories, there was a lady who went to get some coffee from McDonald's. She was going to work that night, and there was a gentleman who thought she was infecting everybody with COVID, and he shot her. There was several cases where healthcare workers were getting shot because people thought because we were out in our scrubs. And so I remember going and telling my staff, listen, y'all need to bring some other clothes. I need y'all to go home in y'all jogging pants and jeans because there's people out here that are not right.
Yep.
And they think we're spreading COVID.
And it goes back to the media.
What the media is putting in the air, in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, especially, I don't even want to get into like the crazy people that were attacking Asian people for.
Oh, Lord.
Like,
True.
I mean, it's
True.
just some people just, they'll believe anything, right?
Yeah.
But again, like you said, that the media has so much power if they would even talk about living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
These natural herbs and these remedies work and really can boost your immune system. But they don't. Like most people that are really involved in that is because they took that initiative themselves to do that research. And there is some scientific proof behind that. But then again, the only people who will be happy about that will probably be the farmers.
Yeah.
Not necessarily pharmaceutical, big pharma. And big pharma is controlling it. But again, the government has a responsibility to make sure that we have all of the information, not just the information they want us to have.
Yeah. Because I find it interesting. Every time I look at natural supplements, it says this has not been verified by the FDA.
Exactly.
But how on earth did you have time to verify a vaccine so quickly? Like, that's something that I don't think I know. Right?
That's up on the line, okay?
That's always been a thought of mine. But another question that I had is, have the COVID cases gone up in healthcare workers that are vaccinated this year compared to last year?
And workers?
Yeah. No? Okay. Because I've just from what I've seen and heard people, people are coming down with COVID that they worked the COVID unit all year last year, had no side effects or anything. They didn't catch it, but then they got vaccinated and then they contracted the virus and then they took it home and spread it. So
I don't know if it's an increase, but I will just say this. There's a lot of people who, how do I say this? Were perpetrating that they had the vaccine. And then when we had to start turning in proof that we had it, they didn't have it.
Okay.
And some of those people were getting sick.
Okay.
And then, of course, because you had to turn in proof that you had it, you said, so those people were getting sick because they weren't telling the truth. And they're coming here. And I'm telling you, I hate wearing that mask, but they don't wear no mask. People coughing and hacking all over the place, not wiping stuff down. And these are healthcare workers that know better. So people are really lax. And so, and people that have been vaccinated like myself, we really are kind of lax. Like, I think, I got this vaccine, I ain't got to put this mask on all the time. But everybody around you don't. And so there's a lot of it. My sister got the vaccine, and a couple weeks later, she had COVID. And then she took the monoclonal antibodies and was, she did fine with that. But we just don't know enough about it to really just put all of our trust in it. We just have to use some wisdom in what we do.
Did you have something you wanted to add to it?
No, I mean, I agree with what she said.
Yeah. So you got any questions, thoughts?
I don't know if I have any other questions. I just think, just all in all, I just think that it just shouldn't be mandated. People's, especially just with the just how fast it is, and then their jobs, their families, all that being, pretty much, put on the edge because they're like, whoa, this is coming at me so fast. I know there's a pandemic out there, but I don't know if I really trust this. And if I don't get it, I can't work here, and I can't continue working the same job and working for like 20, 30, some people 40 years.
Yeah.
Firemen, police people, people in the healthcare industry, they're like, I just don't agree with it. I feel like I don't have enough solid information of truth for me to just say like I'll just take it. And that's just my like thing that I'm just like wondering, like, just the biggest part of it within this time, so
Now, I will say most of the organizations did have an exemption policy where if you could truly state your case
mhm,
well enough
mhm.
why you didn't, like where you had a medical or a religious exemption, and they honored those. But a lot of people didn't.
Who honored religion? Now the other one, I agree, but some
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what method they used, but I would just say some were honored. And some were honored.
So were they still like a couple $100 bills with?
I don't know what
I'm
they
just
did.
I'm just playing.
Some were honored.
I know, for examples, it didn't work.
The religion.
Yes.
Well, so there were some honored, and I would just say it really just based on how educated you were and how you wrote that letter and how you were able to prove why I'm not doing this. And so, but I do know a lot of people didn't take the time to even try the exemption policy. They just said either they went ahead, I'm gonna just take it or I'm gonna quit. Yeah. And so if I was that strongly about it, I would have at least tried to get through the exemption policy if I was. And then I would have made sure that my reasoning, I could back up what I was saying. And so I just, and that's where I just think a lot of people are like, well, I'm just not doing it. And then a lot of people's like, I'm not doing it. And then the day before the deadline, they're all rushing to do it. Like,
oh yeah.
So, which is, it comes back to that whole, you're not telling me what to do.
They thought those hospitals was going to change.
But you do know there's one hospital that's still not.
They had to. They didn't want to lose their staff.
Are they going to? Because they're going to have to, because they get federal funding as well. They do, though. But they do.
Majority.
I know there's a lot of philanthropy and all of that, but there is.
Where does it come from? I was there for.
Oh, I know, but they taking everybody.
They can hold it off. I'm telling you.
But eventually, they.
I know a lot, and we know.
No, I got some of them too.
$100 million donors. So, hey, it's coming. You right?
It's coming. It's eventually
they're
gonna
hold
have to
off
come.
For right now, like others.
So with that in mind. So the only reason why hospitals are enforcing this is to get federal dollars, not for the protection of their workers.
It's a two-edged sword. Let's just say.
Okay.
Both reasons. Yes.
I would say
that's a good.
I'm gonna be honest with
that's
you.
A good response.
I do support the vaccine because right now that's the only thing that they can truly scientifically prove, and they have not put the money in the other in the healthy lifestyle to support it. They have not put the money, and they don't have the scientific evidence to back it. But I do think as healthcare workers we have a responsibility. Right. I do not want anybody to come in there and I'm walking around perpetrating like I have this vaccine and I'm not being safe, and then somebody gets sick because of me, because I'm there to take care of them, and I do feel like people should feel safe walking in a hospital that we're giving vaccines. We if we're giving it, we should support that we're giving it. Like when I worked in OB, I am pro choice. However, I did not participate in the medical abortions as a choice, and I had that choice not to because I didn't want to, especially when they were considered fetuses, when they were babies. I just didn't want to do it, and that was my choice. And so I just feel like the hospital should support me, but I should also support the patients that are coming in. I shouldn't do anything that's going to cause harm to my patients. And so you can't have a hospital giving vaccines and then half the staff or none of the staff are vaccinated. We have to make sure it's a safe place for you all to come.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Safety is first. I mean, I know where
But-
we're safe
and we
Because here's the interesting with that though.
Mhm.
You have healthcare workers that they promote not smoking. There's no smoking signs, right? And they're outside smoking out front.
They cannot be on the hospital
Not
property.
racist, not
If you
anymore.
see them smoking, I promise you the hospital does not own that property. And now, if you smoke, they do that test. If there's nicotine, marijuana, any in your system, you are probably not going to get hired at a hospital around here.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
And
that's good
even
to
with
know.
your health
Just
insurance,
regular smoking.
Nicotine?
Nicotine. Oh
Wow.
wow. That's new.
Right.
you can't get hired
I don't
at a
smoke,
hospital.
but oh wow.
No, you can't get hired at a hospital if you smoke nicotine. And you actually sign and say I don't smoke with nicotine.
Oh wow.
That's why you go in and have those labs done and all that before you work there.
Okay.
Also too with your health insurance, most health insurance they ask you for a goal, like depending on what insurance you have, and you have to say I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds by the end of next year, and
Yeah.
you get bonuses with your health insurance. And so
Yeah.
there are things out there trying to promote healthy lifestyles, but we need more of that. But if we
Absolutely.
could get Big Pharma to support some of those initiatives,
Yeah.
we have
And I
the
would
money
say
to keep it going.
hospitals, well, the ones that I work at, they do promote wellness a lot. They do. I will give them that. But again, I mean, I just feel like we can go back to this whole mandation thing. I just wish they would promote more
Mhm.
of, immune boosters and stuff like that, more than they promote this vaccine. And that's just my opinion on that.
I mean,
And
I definitely
truly-
agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
As
and
well.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much my stance on it, and I just wish that we would just take politics out of the whole
Yep.
thing and just be able to make a decision,
Yeah.
that's best for us and our family, man. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because I will say, and then we can, wrap it up. It's funny that people that are vaccinated, they take it as if like they're rich talking to a poor person that's unvaccinated, right?
A class.
If you look at the
Right.
division that is created, it's like, oh, I'm vaccinated, right? And it's like they look at you like you're such a horrible person. It's like, okay,
That's media
I may
push.
not be, I'm talking about like I've met people like they're like I'm vaccinated and I'm better than you. And it's like, well, you're not better than me because here's the thing. There's still a chance on both sides. You can be vaccinated, catch the virus, and still die. Just like I am unvaccinated and can catch the virus and can die. Like and it's like it's playing on the whole fear of like you're gonna die. And it's like, but you never think about that when you jump in your car. Like more people die in car accidents than people have died of.
You take the vaccine and still catch cold, and if you got
Yep.
some type of
Right.
you got some type of illness, you still can die. I mean,
Yep.
I just never understood this. You got it, stay away from me.
Oh,
You get, you're not vaccinated, you're stupid. Like this is crazy, man.
it's not that serious.
And I
It's
would
not.
just say this: I participated we were passing out flyers because we were doing a vaccine clinic. But it was interesting. I ran into this young man, and he was telling me he was 45 years old. As he was standing there, he was smoking a cigarette, and he told me, "I'm 45 years old. I've been shot 3 times, and I ain't taking that vaccine. They're trying to kill me." And I'm looking at him like, "No, you're trying to kill you." So it's and
Yeah.
I just need people to be educated because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, and I know the whole herbal stuff, but there's a lot of people that smoke a lot of herbs that are controversial,
Yeah.
but they're afraid you're ingesting this in your body, but you're afraid of the vaccine. And,
Yeah.
all these designer marijuanas and stuff they got here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People don't have no problem in,
Yeah.
participating in that. And then it's this whole conspiracy theory. So again, people need to educate themselves, know what they're doing. And if you truly say, I've done my research, this vaccine is not for me,
Mhm.
that is your choice. But when you you engage in all these other unhealthy,
Yep.
I eat fried chicken. I like it. I ain't ready to give it
All
up.
of it.
I ain't ready to give it up, okay?
Yeah.
But again, don't say you didn't take the vaccine. I mean,
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
participate in some unhealthy things, and now I need to do better because as
Yeah.
I get older, I can't eat what I used to eat. I can't do what I used to do,
Yeah.
and so everybody needs to just make an informed decision. And I totally maintain it should be your choice. Nobody should tell you that you have to do it. And of course, like I said, my profession, and I did it and I supported it, but I made that decision on my own.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should have
I
that
have a
option.
question because we always say people should do their research. You should do your research. I mean, it's no shot whatsoever. How do we research?
Yeah, because that's kind of my question
'Cause a
too.
lot
Because it's
of
like,
people
where do you
don't
send?
know how to research. They don't know where to start as far as when it comes to stuff like this.
It's like, because when you get inundated with just information from all these other places, like you're not really.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's
when
more to
when
it
I
than just
say
Google
do you,
entity, you know what I'm
and
saying? So,
again, if you ask me when I do my research, I'm probably gonna ask somebody. I'm an old lady, so I'm gonna ask
Right.
somebody who's probably in research insights because I have access to them. But again, my children are probably gonna listen to whoever the latest rap star is. If they got it, they gonna go get it.
you see what I'm
If the
saying?
Kardashians got it, they.
Right.
I mean, so it's again, but and I don't know the true answer to that.
Right.
It's,
And I
don't know.
see people all the time saying, "Do your research," or "I researched this." Where did you get your research?
But again, we already said, what did you call it? Where they flood your timeline with
Yeah.
the stuff
Right.
that you're interested in.
Yeah.
So once I said I'm pro-vaccine,
That's
everything
the-
gonna
Right.
come to me pro-vaccine. So
that's the tough part is people that speak against the vaccine and have data to show their proof is marked as misinformation.
It's the fact
So it's
check,
like
who the
we-
fact checkers.
Right? We
No,
keep
I never
saying
agree, and I never agree with that. And as you've seen that the election is gone, we know who that was basically towards the
Yep.
fact check thing.
Yep.
So anybody that posted something that was pro Trump, Facebook fact check. We know this is for a fact.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's and it's still
Okay.
going, and that was the
Mhm.
test
Right.
for it too. Because
It
that's
was.
what
It
that's what
really
they're
was.
doing to
But-
anybody and that's the other challenge I have. If
Right.
we're supposed to trust science, and science is meant to be tested by two separate people, two separate cases, and then you come together with what both sides found, and then you validate which is true. It could be that both and is possible. Like the vaccine is protecting
Mhm.
people and being healthy protects people, right? But they're giving us the either or, and it's like no, it could
Right.
be both and. So
Right.
even doing that research, and the people that do the research they dig into medical studies, they dig into medical professions, and they put out saying like, "Yo, this information's not." Like they're saying that it's this for you,
Mhm.
and then they're saying it's not, and then you see the government going after a few
Well-
people that have access to researchers.
well, true. Okay, so we do live in an information age, but true research is it should be peer reviewed, and like you said, that is true research. So I'm in school, so I know what true research is, and of course, you can find the same study. You can find somebody who's for and against it, but again, they have to disclose that I'm supported by this pharmaceutical company. I'm supported by this university.
Right.
And so that is true research. But of course, our younger generation, they don't really care what these researchers have to say. They are more prone to what
Yeah, and that's why
celebrities say.
that's why we see it's like even they're like, hey, a black woman created the vaccine, so you should trust it. And I was like, I just can't, I can't like I can't let go the fact that some black person back in slavery days sold somebody into slavery, or a black doctor became a doctor, but then because they got out of being a slave, that they wanted to keep their position. So then they're like, well, now let me go mistreat the slave just like right? So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't care if you're white, black, whatever. Just because you're black does not mean I'm going to follow you.
Well, this is another conversation, Zay. That we could go a whole another hour on just that. No, I can't stand that they try to entice us with that foolishness, because we know there's a lot of people with brown skin that aren't black people. And so I can't, I don't. I was born in the 70s, so it's a little bit like, wait a minute. No, we know that, and to me, they use it. And if, I don't know if a black woman came up with the virus or not, and a vaccine or not, that is wonderful. However, what does that have to do with me? Because again, we are the only group of people that, yes, we're black, but that means so many different things it's 4 different black people in this room. But it means 4 different things to all of us because of our age, our sex, where we were raised, all of that. And so to me, so she has black skin. And that's great. But what does that have to do with me making an informed decision about taking this vaccine? And so, but that's what they do. They think if they plaster a black face, they're going to entice us to do something. And we're the only group of people they use that tactic for.
Because we the only ones that
and we fall for it.
That's
and when we gonna stop falling for it?
Because it was like it was only black people. I saw them knocking on doors to give the vaccine.
You all, I've flown a couple times, and I'm telling you, it is not us that the flight attendants have issues with about keeping the mask on. It's not us. I sat by this man. He was like, "Do you believe in this stupid vaccine?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I do." but no, it is not us. I promise.
I think if it wasn't mandated, we wouldn't be having these problems. I think people are, especially. I mean, if
we are 11.something% of the population. It ain't us.
Right. I mean, I know that. I know that. I mean, this is the first time that some people have gotten a taste of what it's like to walk in our shoes, to be mandated to do something that you don't want to do.
And I'm telling y'all, just even when I told you about the exemptions, it ain't us. I'm leave it at that.
I agree. Those 4 examples, they wasn't us.
That's the point I'm saying. So I'm telling you, this whole vaccine thing, more of us, I think, are taking it than they're giving us credit for. But that is media worthy than to say that the executives up on Wall Street ain't taking it.
The White House staff
ain't taking it, right?
Staff aren't taking it.
They're not taking it.
Right.
So,
because also, I mean, they also could know what's in it. So that's so like to circle it back all the way back around.
The one guy said we should. I listened to this podcast, and he said we should all go on a buddy system. Everybody should take one of their friends of another nationality, and you get your shot, and I get my shot off the same valve, so we know we all getting the same thing. Now,
man, that sounds. that sounds like
he was seriously making a joke, but the point is, of course, we distrust everything, but we have a reason to,
right?
But no,
but I think I think too much. And I'm just aware of too much stuff. And then there's some stuff that from like even dreams my wife's had about the vaccine that has like, okay, for us, it's like, we're not taking that step because this is what God showed her. Right. So then it taps into, okay, well, if God showed you this, then did he show this person this? Right. It's like, it's just interesting because there's just so much confusion with it because, it's almost like the other part is educated people are vaccinated. Uneducated people are unvaccinated, right? That's another narrative that they're pushing. It's like, well,
we know that's not.
That's not true.
We know that's not.
So it's like, it's all interesting stuff, but it's a good conversation to have. we definitely appreciate you guys taking the time out and even entertaining and having the conversation. You know, I've honestly learned some stuff myself through this process of having a conversation. Does that mean I'm going to get it? No. You know what I'm saying? That's my decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because I've been having conversations like, at what point would you take it? I was like, I don't know. I'm not there yet. Right. But that's my decision.
Do you think you've had it?
I think me and my wife had it at the very beginning, but she got it worse than I did. And so and I've been out and about since the pandemic started. Like, there was no me being at home. Now, I was always aware of where I was at. I stopped driving Uber for that reason, because, you know, I think that's kind of how I may have got it. Was I picked up a guy and he was like, oh, I don't have COVID. And then I was like,
ones that say they don't.
I was like,
okay, I'm done.
I was like, sir, right? So then, you know, I started feeling weird, but at the same time, I was stressed out about some other stuff. So my immune system was down. And then when I get sick, I go straight to herbs. So it's like, typically I have a flu mix that I take, which is like cayenne pepper, some honey, garlic, ginger, ACV with some water and some lemon juice. Shake it up. You take 2 shots every 2 to 4 hours. And for me, like, if I get sick in 2 days, I'm good. I still take an extra 2 days to kind of just let my body really flush the system out. But I'm also a person that detoxes regularly throughout the year, like, you know, doing juice fast, I may go a week without drink, you know, just only on water, like always keeping my system flush. So for me, it hit me not as bad as now my wife. She was down. Then I know at church, we didn't know what was going on, but then there was like, yeah, I was sick on this Sunday. I was sick on this Sunday. I was sick on this Sunday.
Everybody started talking, we was all like, you probably gave it to me. Yeah.
Yep. So it went around. So it was like, you know, but I think I had it, but even
you had it, so you have the antibodies. So you.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And then I even like this year I said, all right, I'm focusing even more on my health, getting my weight down, because if I can do anything to prevent my body from, if I'm not, because this is what I hope people would do. If you're listening to this, if you decide not to get the vaccine, pump your body with stuff that's going to help your immune system fight it. Don't just be like, I'm not taking this and then eat like crap. Because one thing that I heard from what Joe Rogan said was he's been eating clean, doing good. He went and did a show and he got drunk. And the next day he got the virus.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, I'm never drinking again, because in his mind, that was that opened the door for me to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just being aware of what you're putting in your body, so that, because, you know, again, we're wiping down stuff, but like you go to the checkout line and the people that are taking the person's money, they're not sanitizing their hands to check your stuff out. So it's like, you can't avoid it, honestly. As much as we try to, you can't avoid.
You can't think like that.
Right.
You lose your mind.
You will lose your mind.
Do that.
You'll lose your mind.
We just got to keep our personal armor, our immune system armor, like just proactively strong.
Yep.
Because they're not going to take or help us with proactive measures, so we have to just do what we know. And if we choose to get the vaccine, we get the vaccine. If we don't, like you said, we have to be on point.
Yeah, right. We have to be proactive.
And that's the last thing I'm gonna say. But what you said makes sense to me, like opposed to the guy who's smoking a cigarette, has been shot several times, got high blood pressure, had a stroke.
Yeah.
And talking about you're not getting a vaccine.
Yeah.
Like,
I would suggest them
get some lifestyle changes.
Like change your lifestyle. Because that's the conversation I had with my parents. I was like, you guys have all these different ailments, so y'all have to get healthy. Right. So we'll do our parts and me and my wife do our part. My sister, she she'll still go out and do certain stuff, but it's like, you just got to be mindful. And I tell them like, hey, y'all have to, if you're not going to take care of yourself, you can't be eating crappy food at the crack of dawn and then thinking that, you're not sleeping, you're not doing this stuff, that your body's going to be able to fight anything that attacks. And it's like both of you guys have had, like, again, my mom had dealt with the pneumonia, respiratory issues to where I don't know if it's fully resolved. My pops had a stroke a few years back. So it's like you're taking high blood pressure medicine. You're on all this stuff that is just really helping you survive until you die. It's not helping you get any better. It's not improving anything. So you got to change what you're doing here so that you can be healthy. So if you're not going to take care of your body, like you may want to think about getting vaccinated. But if you're going to take the chance of not being vaccinated, make sure that you take care of your body. You know, and it's ultimately, like we've all said, it's just the individual person's choice to make that decision. It's sad that, you know, they're being forced to. And again, we understand that it's not that the government cares about us as individuals, because, you know, we can get into another conversation would be they just want you to pay taxes. That's the only reason why they care about jobs and all that stuff. But we'll have that on another episode for another day. But they don't really care about us, but they want to put off the illusion. So it's all about business. It's all about, you know, they done pay for these mugs up front. So they're like, y'all gonna take them, right? And we're gonna make it so uncomfortable for your life that you either decide not to take it or to take it.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's a precursor for something else that's coming, but you know, if we keep our eyes on. You know, so for I just say for believers that, you know, this is, I mean, everything we're seeing is preparation for the Antichrist to come.
Okay.
So it's preparation because, you know, what it's seeing is, all right, if we give them this choice between this or that, right? Because when that time comes, it's going to be, you're going to take this to eat or you're going to stay steadfast in your faith.
Right.
Those are the two decisions. Right now, it's like, let me test it for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So some people are like, I feel I need to take it. Like with you working around it, like it makes all the sense in the world to take it.
Right.
But for other people that are just taking it because people have punked them into it, or I had someone say to me, I got the vaccine because they said I can do all of these things. I can live my normal life. And it's like, okay, that's just, now they understand that you've been bought. Now they understand that, okay, you're willing to give up all of these things, relinquish this to us so that you can do this. Because all this is a big experiment too. But of course, that's a conspiracy theory. I just pay attention to how they collect data, how they're learning from us, and how they are able to quickly shut stuff down, like how we were willing, like, oh my God, we're scared. Take our freedoms. Right.
They were watching everything. Like close, like, wow, they're going in the house and they're staying for a moment. They're scared.
Yep. Because if you think of like, if you know, anything you watch when they talk about like terrorist attacks, they do small things first just to see the reaction, and then they hit you with something big. So it's just like, they're just testing. This is like, and then of course, and everybody that listens to us knows that there's a spiritual backing between our conversations. And we know that, you know, we fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities and evil in high places. So like we're dealing with principalities with this whole thing.
It's interesting because, you know, there's a lot of religious reformations that believe this is the mark of the beast. And so you got all of that. So yes.
So bro, you got any last words?
I'm just gonna say, I think this is just kind of what you just said. I just think this is just the beginning of leading to that mark per se. Because like I said, it's kind of like setting the mind up and seeing what the people will react to, if they'll just kind of, you know, if we kind of carry them a little bit and take it away and say, you got to do this to get it, you know, how they going to react? Are you going to resist? Or, you know, so they, you know, but yeah, all in all, I just think it was a great episode. I appreciate y'all coming through and really
Thank you. Thank you.
know.
It's been weeks in the works. It's been weeks, but it was definitely worth it. And I think it, you know, when it drops, it's going to be like in the perfect season because, you know, we're in the time where the seasons are changing, and we know that as the season changes, what they call this typically flu season, because you know your immune system's changing, and most people don't prepare for it. And so, you know, we want to help anybody prepare for this next season that we're walking into. So until next time, first, thanks again. If you want to say any last words.
I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have to make the choice between the vaccine or the marketed beef. Plan to be raptured up.
Right. That's facts.
Yes.
Anything?
I have no last words, but I would say that if you're not gonna get the vaccine, at least get the flu shot. That's just, I mean, we are in the season, so get the flu shot.
Yeah, because the flu is like, you know, I'm still here. You know, I know COVID's getting the whole
getting the shot.
short stealing the show right now, but I'm still here.
Right, it's still Cinderella. Right, the ugly stepsisters are getting.
I know
It's COVID.
exactly. You know, we've forgotten about it
Yeah.
because of everything that's going on. But it's very important.
Mhm.
Get the flu shot.
There
I
we
know
go.
they're not promoting it, so I promote it.
There we go. There we go. You heard it. He said, "Go get the flu shot."
Get the flu shot.
All right, get the flu shot. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed this moment. Let us know what you think. You know where to find us. Anything less? Anything, bro? Anything else you want to say, man?
Nothing less, but just stay mindful. Keep tapping into your purpose. Know that you're here. You're still here. You made it past a whole pandemic, and you're still here. So you're here on purpose for a purpose. So keep being you. Keep tapping into that, and you will see us again.
Yep. So until next time, it's your boy Zay,
And it's your boy Rashad.
and this is the Raw on Purpose podcast.
Tapping, tap into your purpose. Tapping, check it. They act as if we see no, hear no, speak no evil. They act as if we see no, hear no, speak no evil. We